Obama administration announced today it is restricting the types of military equipment local law enforcement can get from federal agencies. Good evening, I'm Tim Callahan.
And I'm Jackie Parks. The ban is part of Mr. Obama's push to ease tensions between law enforcement and minority communities. The president is cutting back on shipments of military equipment to local police because he says some equipment made for the battlefield is not appropriate for policing. That list of banned equipment includes bayonets, grenade launchers, weaponized aircraft, drones, and tanks. 23 ABC's Mark Christian spoke to our local law enforcement and has some reaction.
What began as a program to help fight the war on drugs back in the 1990s, law enforcement agencies around the country were able to get military equipment.
This is a violent society that we live in. There's a small segment of society that are extremely dangerous. We are the ones that have to face them.
But now, in response to the turmoil last summer in Ferguson, Missouri, where police used militarized gear during the riots, the president is stopping the flow of certain military weapons and gear to law enforcement agencies.
And let's not paint law enforcement with this big, broad brush. If we have an incident that law enforcement is accused of doing wrong, let's deal with that.
Now, some things on that list aren't even used here locally, and they include bayonets.
We don't want bayonets. I don't think any agency in the country would want bayonets.
High caliber weapons.
Why would we want a 50 caliber weapon? They're ineffective.
And grenade launchers.
They're used for flares. They have a shotgun round, but there's no grenades that come with those.
Also on the list are aircrafts like helicopters, certain armored vehicles, and riot gear.
I would certainly hate the thought of putting law enforcement officers in a riot situation where bottles and rocks and whatever else can be picked up and thrown or hurled at them without some type of protection.
The Kern County Sheriff's Office has received some of that equipment, and the Bakersfield Police Department has not really participated in the program other than getting some gas masks several years ago.
Protecting our community is different from, for example, the Kern County Sheriff's Department. They have the second largest county in the state. So, for example, having aircraft is something that is critical to their success.
Now, the president's executive order will not affect any gear agencies already have, and both agencies here locally say they will continue to use the gear needed to protect the community and their officers.
It's not just my job to protect the public, it's also my job as the head of this organization to protect the officers that are sworn to service our community.
Mark Christian, 23 ABC.